Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to another pre-flight video, and today I'm going to tour you inside of a cockpit of a Cessna 172. So alright, good morning guys. So today nasa hangar tayo. I've just finished my 8 a.m. flight. Time right now is 11:06 in the morning, and nagpapahinga lang tayo dito sa hangar, and later we're gonna go out. But before that, I want to share you something that some people or some aspiring pilots and some student pilots are asking. What's inside of a Cessna 172? So some of you might be curious kung ano yung itsura ng isang training flight na aeroplano. So I'm going to show you inside the Cessna's 172 cockpit. Safety first, so we have to wear our face mask. So right now, nandito pa ako sa simulator room namin. As you can see, I'm going to go here. In my background is a Redbird MCX simulator right there. And sa ngayon, walang gumagamit ng simulator. So, nakapatay siya. But I'm gonna show you inside the simulator as well. Hindi tayo pwedeng lumagpas sa yellow lines. So, I cannot go inside. Bale, I'll just show the inside. I-view ko na lang yung ilalapit ko na lang yung camera. So, ginagamit namin to before we go into in-flight training. So, we do first simulator, especially kapag private pilot. They have to undergo a 5-hour simulator first before they can go to in-flight training. So, pero hindi tayo mag-focus dito. We're going to focus on our Cessna. So, as you can see right there is RPC 4088. I'll show you what's inside RPC 4088 later. So just remember guys, before we go out, we have to wear our vest. So once you're in the airport, not just in the hangar, but also in the ramp, yung ramp, ayan, yung sa labas na lang. Sa labas ng airport, so sa labas ng hangar, you have to wear a safety vest or a high visibility vest so that people can see you, pilots can see you. If there any movement in the ramp or in the area ng airport, you need to be visible at all times kasi very dangerous, and it poses a hazards kapag hindi natin nakikita or hindi tayo nakita sa airport. But in our case here in Subic, although konti lang ang movement unlike sa other airports, busy airports, still we have to practice safety. That's why we need to wear a high visibility vest. I have my high visibility vest over here, so suotin lang natin to, and then we proceed outside to the aircraft. So guys, let's proceed to the aircraft. Here we have our high-vis vest. Suot na natin. So let's go to the aircraft. So yeah. So in our background, as you can see, nawala na yung echo. That is RPC 4088. So we're gonna check out what's inside of it, and I'll also explain some of the instruments na makikita natin sa loob. Although basic explanation lang siya, but let's go. So, and dito against the light. So again, there's a line. So if you have to cross that, you need to wear a vest, and napaalam naman natin yung aircraft. So let's get inside 4088. So I'm gonna switch the camera so you can see what's inside the aircraft. Pumasok, I'm just gonna share to you guys that Cessna 172 is the most common aircraft na nililipad ng mga beginner pilots. So me, a beginner pilot, we fly a Cessna 172, and that is what it looks like. I did my solo flight on RPC 20, pero unfortunately wala si RPC 20 ngayon. Currently na may lipad siya, so we're gonna tour 4088 instead. Same lang naman din yung instruments niyan, same lang din yung loob niyan. So, ito yung gagamitin natin ngayon. Papakita ko lang sa inyo guys yung exterior ng ating Cessna 172. And usually flying schools here in the Philippines and all across the world uses this aircraft for flight training. And we also have a Cessna 152. I think we have a 152 there in the background. Yun. Kung makikita nyo sa background, si RPC 5288, that's a Cessna 152. It's a smaller version of a 172, 2-seaters lang yun, and mas mababa lang yung ng konti yung horsepower ni 152. Let me show you guys the Cessna 152 as well. Ayan, mapapansin nyo mas maliit siya, yung fuselage niya mas maliit compare sa 172. Ayan, so that is a Cessna 152. Alrighty, so let's proceed back to the Cessna 172. So before we go inside, let me just tell you the basic components of this aircraft. So there are 5 basic components. You have the fuselage, we have the power plant, we have the wings, we have the empennage, and we have the landing gear. So ilan na yun? So fuselage, power plant, have the wings, landing gear, and the empennage. So fuselage is this one. Yan, yung body ng aircraft natin. All components of the aircraft are connected to the fuselage. And of course, the power plant, it houses our engine. Andyan dyan. Of course, the wings, the one that generates lift, and our landing gears. Yan. And of course, our empennage consists of a horizontal and a vertical stabilizer. Dyan nyo makikita yung ating elevator and the rudders. Okay, so let's proceed inside this Cessna 172 aircraft. So it has been unlocked, and let's get inside. So may step dyan, you just have to step here, and I hope to see you guys flying one of these soon na. So welcome aboard guys to the cockpit of a Cessna 172. So we're inside now. As you can see, leather seats. O, diba? Social. Joke lang. So we're inside the cockpit of a Cessna 172, and I'm going to show you the instruments. And post na rin tayo for our thumbnail. Oh, diba? So I'm going to switch the camera again and show you guys what are the instruments found inside a Cessna 172. So I'm going to tell you guys the basics lang naman kung para sa yung mga instruments na yan, yung mga nakikita nyo, and what are the important instruments. So this video is to give you an idea kung ano yung mga ibig sabihin yan. So okay, so we're inside of a cockpit of a Cessna 172. It is a Skyhawk II. It's a 172 November, and I'm going to tell you first the basic controls. Of course, we have here is the yoke. We have one from the right, meron tayo isa sa right side, and meron tayo sa left side. So if you're a student pilot, you're most probably going to sit in the left side. So ito yung controls mo, and this is what the POV kapag nasa loob ka ng aircraft na to, ng 172. So going first to the 6-packs, and usually we pilots focus on these instruments. So first, we have our airspeed indicator. Of course, it tells you your airspeed. And kung sa kotse, kung sa mga vehicles natin, we use kilometers per hour here in the Philippines, and kung nasa ibang bansa ka, means yung iba miles per hour. Here, in the case of an airplane, we uses knots. Yan ang measurement of our speed. 40 knots, 50 knots, 60 knots, 70, 80 knots, 100 knots, 120, and so on and so forth. So we uses knots as our measurement of speed. And mapapansin nyo, we have our green arc, we have our white arc, yellow arc, and red line. So white arc, medyo technical, flaps operating range. Green arc is our normal, and then of course yellow arc, you can exceed that speed but only in smooth air. So we need to be cautious when we're flying in the yellow arc. And then red line, never exceed speed. So we can never exceed the red line at all costs. So that tells you your airspeed. Diba? Simple lang. The next instrument is the attitude indicator. This tells you your aircraft's bank and pitch. So mapapansin nyo nakatambo siya ngayon kasi hindi nakastart yung aircraft natin. But it tells you your bank angle. This is by 10 degrees, 10, 20, 30, 45 in the middle, and 60 degrees, 90 degrees. So it's either you bank to the left or you bank to the right. It also tells you your pitch attitude. So you can either pitch up, and if you see a lot of blue, it means you're pitching up, and if you see a lot of brown or black at some case, it means you're pitching down. And then right here is our altimeter. It tells you your altitude. So it tells you, it shows by hundreds of feet, 100, 200, 300, 400, but it doesn't actually tells you by hundreds. So mapapansin nyo, tatlong needle yan. Isang hundreds of feet, isang thousands of feet, and 10,000s. And mapapansin nyo dito sa gilid, we have a Colesman window. Diyan namin sineset yung pressure altitude. So binibigay yan ni tower, what we call the QNH. So kung binigyan ka ng QNH of 2980, you just put that 2980 and you're all set. Yan. And then we have here is the VSI, or the vertical speed indicator. It tells you your rate of climb and rate of descent. It shows by hundreds of feet, or like this one, so 500 feet, 1000 feet, so 100 feet, 200 feet, 300 feet, 400 feet, 500 feet. So if you're climbing 500 feet per minute, so yon. Ayan siya. Actually, may kita mo dito, sorry. May kita mo dito, 100 feet per minute. So kung itong needle mo is nakatapat dito, it means you're climbing 500 feet per minute. And the next one is our heading indicator. Now our heading indicator must be aligned always with our magnetic compass. Later I'll tell you where is the magnetic compass. And right here is we have our last instrument, our turn coordinator. Wings level. Kung maririnig nyo, kung yung mga nanonood kayo ng mga videos about student pilots, kapag may instructor silang kasama, they tell ball center. So this is what we call the inclinometer. Itong may ball sa gitna, it tends to go right or left. It shows you the tail of the aircraft. Ito yung buntot ng aircraft natin. So kung itong ball is nasa right, it means yung aircraft mo, yung tail niya, nasa right side. So dapat lagi naka-ball center yan to have a coordinated flight. That's why we have to need to always keep the ball centered. To keep the ball centered, you just step on the rudder pedal where the ball is. So kung nasa right side yung ball, step on the right pedal. Kung nasa left side, step on the left pedal. So that is the 6 packs of a pilot. Yan yung usually laging tinitingnan. But if we zoom out, mapapansin nyo madami, di ba? So I'm going to show you guys, tell you guys naman kung ano yung other parts ng or other instruments na makikita natin sa aircraft. So na-mention ko kanina, we start first with the magnetic compass. So na-mention ko kanina dapat si heading indicator always aligned with our magnetic compass. Because our magnetic compass always seeks magnetic north and it is accurate. So hindi lang siya kita dito pero may compass dyan. Ayan o. So since we have an error in this one, we have to always realign this with this one. So our heading indicator always needs to be aligned with our magnetic compass. So twist nyo lang to, may knob dyan. Yan o. Yan, push and twist. Yan, ma-align na yan sa magnetic compass. Of course, you have to check for sa magnetic compass. And then, going down, sa gilid, we have our clock. We have our suction gauge. So, may vacuum kasi yung aeroplano natin. So, we can see here kung nakakasak ba siya ng air. So, we have here is the suction gauge. And, clock. Normal clock. And to the right side, we have here the VOR. So, meron tayong VOR1 and VOR2. So, dalawa yan. Hindi ko na muna i-explain yung VOR kasi medyo complicated and actually, I'm still doing my instruments pero we uses this as our navigational aid. So, if in case man na mawala ka or instrument flying ang nililipad mo or instrument conditions, you can use VOR to head into a specific station. And I'm quite amazed then going down here kasi itong aeroplano to is equipped with ADF. Outdated ng ADF, pero this aircraft still has an ADF. And na-amaze na ako kasi first time kumakita ng ADF sa isang aircraft. Yung nililipad ko wala na siyang ADF. So medyo advanced na yun si RPC-20. And then RPM or the tachometer. So when we adjust our throttle settings, mamaya papakita ko sa inyo yung throttle lever. Actually ngayon na, this is our throttle lever. When you adjust it, if we pull and push, nag-i-increase yung RPM. So it is by 1000 RPM, 1500, 2000, by 100 siya. So and then here, right here, we have our fuel gauge to know our fuel. So our fuel is located in our wings. So left wing, right wing. So yan. Oil temperature, we can see our oil temp and oil pressure. Parang kotse lang, di ba? And then medyo maliwanag. And then you can see our amperes here. Dito namin malalaman kung nag-charge ba yung battery and nagdi-discharge yung battery namin. So yon. Medyo madilim. Yan. And then down here, we have our primer. So, kapag start kami ng engine, we prime the engine first. And we have here is the master switch. On the right side is battery, on the left side is the alternator. So, ino-on namin yan when we start the engine. And then, here is our ignition switch. So, parang kotse lang, we still uses keys. Ito yung susi niya. So, saksak lang namin siya dyan. So we have right, left. This is the magnetos. Right magneto, left magneto. And then both. And then we start. Kapag nag-start the engine, go back to both. And then what we have here is the circuit breakers. Kung makapapansin nyo, this is the circuit breakers. Dapat laging nakapasok lahat yan. There should be no popped out circuit breaker kasi that means it's either may short sa ating mga electrical equipment. And then these switches right here are what controls the lights, and one of our anti-ice is the P2 heat. So we have a P2 tube. Mamaya papakita ko sa inyo yung P2 tube. We control the P2 heat through this switch. So i-on namin yan, pwede nang mawala yung ice sa aming P2 tube kasi prone din siya sa icing. Then we have the carburetor heat, another anti-ice feature ng aircraft na to. So yung carburetor natin, possible magkaroon ng icing. So we turn that on and then pwedeng ma-dissolve yung ice through the use of carburetor heat. And then of course, sabi ko nga kanina, the throttle, if you put it in pag pinasok mo yan, so mas mataas na RPM, pag labas mo, mas mahinang RPM. So, yun. And then, the mixture control. So, kung gaano karaming fuel ay papasok namin sa aming cylinder. So, yan. And then, you have the flaps. Kung mapansin nyo, kung narinig nyo, flaps 1, flaps 2, flaps 3. So, this controls our flaps. Then, on the end, the right part of this panel is the cabin heat and the cabin air. Then we have our radios. So ito. Sa aircraft na nilipad ko, which is RPC-20, we already use Garmin. I think this one will be upgraded soon din. And then this is the COM, kung mapapansin nyo, 2 radios equipped ng aircraft na to. So the redundancy, that's part of the safety. Comms, and we have here nav. So nav is for the VOR. So if you want to tune into a specific frequency, kasi diba nga sabi ko kanina, nav is radio navigation aid. It uses frequency, so we can tune into the frequency through the use of this one, nav. So yeah, I'm not familiar with the brand of this radio equipment. And this one is our avionics. And then this one is the ADF control. And then this one is our transponder. We set our squawk code in here. Usually we just tune it to 1 to 100 because that's the transponder code for VFR. And then, what else? Ayan, actually yun. Yun na yung laman ng isang cockpit ng Cessna 172. Yung registry niya naka-N pa rin, so that's for the US registry. Hindi pa siya nalalagyan ng RPC. So, yan ang inside ng cockpit. Ito pa pala, we have something down here. This is the trim tab or the trim settings. So, we uses this to alleviate the pressure that we are dealing kapag lumilipad. So, di ba pag naghahatak, we are pitching up, pitching down. Minsan mabigat to. To alleviate the pressure, we use a trim. And then, we have here our fuel selector valve. Nasabi ko kanina, our fuel is located in the wings of the aircraft. So, left wing, right wing, it has fuel. So, we can select kung saan kami kukuha ng fuel. We could either select on the left one or on the right one. Pero usually, put it on both para equal sila. Hindi kami wing load. And then, this one is the rudder trim settings. Okay, so we use this lever to set the rudder trim that is located in the vertical stabilizer. And that's it. And that is the cockpit of RPC 4088. So, always remember, if you're a student pilot, this 6 packs. Mahalagang mahalaga yan. So, that's it. Kung may question kayo regarding sa cockpit of a Cessna 172, feel free to comment down below and I'll be glad to answer your questions. And then, kung safety naman, we have here our shoulder harness. Nakapasok lang sa loob, but yan, may shoulder harness dyan. Ayoko na tanggalin kasi medyo matrabaho. And then, of course, our seat belts. Yeah. And mahalaga yan. When you fly, always wear your seat belts. Even if you're driving, always wear your seat belts. And of course, yun nga pala sa baba. That's the rudder pedals na sinasabi ko. Medyo malayo ako. And, what else? 4-seaters din pala itong Cessna 172. So, you don't have to worry if you have 3 passengers that you want to take with you. Pwede. And then we have on the back side is the baggage area. Okay. And that's it. So yun guys, no, I have shown you the cockpit of a Cessna 172, and I hope you learned something, and hopefully you'll fly one of these pretty soon. And kung may questions kayo, as I've said nga, just comment it down below and I'll be glad to answer your questions. Medyo mainit sa loob kasi patay yung engine din, tsaka walang hangin. So, I think that's all. And if you like this video, feel free to comment down below, like, subscribe, share to your friends, to your aspiring pilot friends, and kung sa mga kaibigan nyo na din. And click that notification bell to be notified when I upload a new video. So for now, that's everything that I'd like to share. And thank you guys, and see you on the next pre-flight video. Bye-bye.